So you can meet me in a seat and we'll begin there together. You know, obviously things are changing. Things are changing again, and you know, it really does seem to be the consistent theme at the moment. Change. And yeah, it can be challenging, you know, to continually adapt to changes. You know, it's like you just get used to one thing and then all of a sudden you got to get used to something else. And I suppose, you know, throughout life we're always striving towards a sense of certainty. You know, we want things to be certain, we want things to be concrete and, you know, kind of set in stone, you know, predictable. But they're just not, you know, and they never will be. And, you know, you can rather rub up against that and kind of try to fight it, or you can just learn to, you know, to accept it and to go with it. So as we practice today, see if you could keep that at the forefront. Just, you know, we kind of can zoom it in a little just to the microcosm of this moment and this practice. You know, things will shift, things will change. You'll notice moods, you'll notice thinking, you'll notice, you know, certain judgments. But what would it be like just to kind of accept everything as it is and just kind of, you know, step by step, go with the flow, as they say. So please close down your eyes. We'll take a moment just to be really quiet. Take a couple of deeper breaths. If you're still feeling a little lethargic, or sleepy or heavy, and just make a bit of an effort to lift the body. So you might kind of lengthen the spine, let the chest rise, the throat be open. And then notice if you lift so high that you become rigid, see if you could then just soften the edges, the skin, the mouth. And then we'll just sit here for a moment quietly and see if you could just allow the moment to be. Allow your body to be. And just notice the moment where the mind becomes a little more active, and see if you could again just release that and relax back into the moment. Completely accepting each detail. No resistance. What's possible for you here in this space? Okay, please take a deep breath in. Breathe it out of your mouth. Next breath in, reach both of your arms up towards the sky, take a big stretch. And then bring the hands in to touch at the heart, breathing out of the mouth. Okay, blink your eyes open, and if you are moving with any form of music today, you can go ahead and press play. And then we'll meet back in the seat, but if you were sitting on something, just pop it off to the side. And then bring the hands back into touch at the heart. Eyes can stay open or closed, it's up to you. And then interlace your fingers together, press the palms of your hands forward and round the chin towards the chest. You should notice a nice stretch in the upper back here. You might actively round the spine to press your palms a little further forwards. Notice what's happening in the back of the neck. You might heavy your head a little more. And then as you breathe in, a nice strong core lifts the chest up, and you might gently kind of tip back, open throat. Nice. And then release your right hand down by your side, left arm reaches up and over your ear. Nice deep breath. And then switching sides, left hand comes down, right arm reaches up and over. Keep it nice and gentle, there's no need to force. Nice. And then coming back up through the center, reach both of your arms to the sky. Now I'm in a cross-legged position here, so if you are kneeling on your shins or in anything else other than a crossed leg, go ahead and meet me there, and just make sure that one of your shins is in front of the other. And then from here, we'll simply fold forwards. Now you'll notice a nice stretch for your hips. It doesn't matter which shin is in front, because we'll move straight into the second side in a moment. But just see if you could kind of pull the chest forwards, keeping the spine long and kind of feeling this openness across the front. And kind of pressing the hips back in space. Just one more breath. Okay, walk the hands back behind you, come up onto your fingertips, and then just really simply switch the cross of the legs. The opposite shin will come on top, and as you breathe in, reach both of your arms to the sky. As you breathe out, folding forward, and it doesn't need to be super far. You might be a little more upright, and that's totally okay too. And so even if it feels a little sticky, if the body feels a little resistant, it's okay. Like, see if you could just accept this moment as it is. Just find one more breath. Amazing, guys. When you're ready, walk the hands back up towards the body, and we're going to meet up in a downward facing dog, so you might need to turn to the top of your mat. It's a downward facing dog to arrive. And we're going to take 3 breaths in down dog. We'll count them in together. We'll get nice and focused here. Breathe in through the nose. Breathing out through the nose. In through the nose. Out through the nose. In through the nose. Out through the nose. Notice how there's always something to feel and adjust. In through the nose. Out. Final breath. In. Out. Walk your hands towards your feet at the back of the mat. Forward fold. Keep the knees a little soft. Let your spine waterfall over your legs. And just notice the breath. Let the breath anchor you into silence. One more here. Okay, really slowly. We're going to roll up to standing today. So bend the knees a lot. Keep the head and the arms dangling as you press into your feet, and very, very slowly unfurling the spine. Really slowly. The hips stack over the knees, the shoulders stack over the hips. And as the head rises, the arms reach up to the sky and fill the belly with breath. And then we'll fold forward, but just as slowly. Bend the knees, hands cut through the center line of the body as you fold. Okay, walk the hands forwards to the front of your mat, plank pose. Shoulders under the wrists. Notice how your body's in one straight line. You don't want your hips up above your shoulders or drooping below. Make sure your legs are squeezing together. And press your heels back as much as you reach the top of your head forwards. Spread your fingers wide. Grip your finger pads into the earth, and we'll hold here for 3, for 2, and 1. Drop the knees towards the floor. Bend the elbows halfway, chaturanga. Notice how they don't go wide, but they hug the ribs. Press back up. And then let's come all the way down onto the belly. Take the fingertips off the mat. Palms are lifted as you breathe in. Chest lifts. Nice and slowly as you breathe out, chest lowers, and the last thing to drop is the head. Inhale, breath, lift up. Exhale, breath, lower down, focusing on the spine here. Final round. So moving just a little slower to begin with here, staying really mindful. Let's meet back in downward facing dog. Okay, from down dog, your right heel will float up towards the sky. And then the knee will draw in towards the nose, shoulders over wrist, just like plank pose, but squeeze that right knee in. And then step the foot through between your hands, just do your best. Back knee drops down towards the floor. Press the hips forward, take an inhale breath. And then as you breathe out, straighten through that right leg, fold. Let's go for 2 more times like that. Sink it to breath. Inhaling. And exhaling, fold. 1 more time, inhaling, press the hips. Straighten and fold. And this time as you rebend the knee, right arm reaches to the sky, big open twist. And then right arm to the back of the space. Feel free to stay here or bend into your left knee and catch hold of the foot. We'll take 3 breaths here. You might kick the foot into the hand for a slightly more active stretch. If you're feeling adventurous, you might drop down onto your left forearm. Focus on smooth, steady breaths. Okay, when you're ready, gently release the foot. Right hand comes forward. Let's step forwards into a halfway lift. And then fold forward as you empty the breath. All right, press into the feet. Urdhva Hastasana, reach the arms to the sky and sink it to a deep breath right into your belly. And then as you breathe out, fold forward nice and slowly. There's no hurry to be anywhere today. Find a halfway lift as you breathe in. As you breathe out, plant the hands down, step back to plank pose. Left foot steps first, followed by right foot. Body's in a strong line, the core's engaged, the fingers are gripping. Find a breath in. Feel free to drop the knees, chaturanga, bend the elbows halfway down. Either onto the belly for cobra or upward facing dog. Squeeze the thighs, press into the tops of your feet. Downward facing dog, your way to arrive there. Take a breath in here, be still. Try not to fidget as you breathe out. Left heel reaches to the sky. Knee to the nose. Shoulders over wrist, squeeze the knee in higher. Step through between your hands. Back knee drops down, press the hips forwards, look forwards. Straighten through your leg, forward fold. 2 more like that, inhale breath. Straighten into your half splits, fold. Final time. Okay, rebend into the knee, left arm to the sky, find that twist, lean back. And then optional to slide the hand to the back of the space and catch that right foot. You might drop down onto your right forearm. It's an intense stretch, so stay with breath. Could you accept this moment fully? Amazing. Gently release the foot, reaching forwards, step forwards, halfway lift. Fold and empty the breath. Let's come up to standing Urdhva Hastasana, reaching high. You might even tip back a little here. And then fold forward, take your time. All right, let's step back to plank pose. Right foot goes first, followed by the left. Keep the collarbones broad, in breath. Press the heels back as you lower your elbows. Your version of up dog or cobra. And we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Take your time if you need to. Resist the urge to fidget, just be still. Okay, when you're ready, walk the hands to the feet again at the back of the mat, forward fold. All right, this time we'll interlace the hands at the base of the spine, clasp the hands, slide the shoulders back first and then take the arms up and over. Relax your head. Make sure that the weight is over the arches of your feet. You want a steady, even stance. One more breath. Release the hands into a halfway lift. Chest pulls forwards, the chin pulls back up towards the throat. And then fold forward as you empty. Let's come up to standing, inhaling, reaching to the sky. Keep the arms above your head as you breathe out. Right hand takes hold of the left wrist. Take a side bend up and over to the right. And press into your left heel. And then feel free to stay just like this. So you might take the weight into your right foot and float your left foot out towards the left. You might play with pointing the toes here. Yes. And then come back through the center, land the left foot if it was lifted. Switch the grip, side bend up and over to the left. And activate that right foot, and then maybe you lengthen it out towards the right. Let's release your feet down to the floor, forward fold. And walk your hands forwards, plank pose. Strong legs, breathe in. Chaturanga, breathe out. Remember, you can always lower your knees. Cobra pose as I'm doing here, or upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Straight away, right leg floats to the sky. Knee to the nose. Step through between your hands. Keep the back knee lifted this time. Lunge forward, runner's lunge. Straighten through your leg, pyramid pose. If you need blocks under hands, go for it. 2 more like that. Inhale, breath, lunge forwards. Exhale, breath, straighten. Final time here, smooth and slow. And this time as you rebend into the knee, easy twist, right arm to the sky. Strengthen up that back leg. Press your right hip back in space. 1 more breath. And then we'll take it into Cleopatra pose. So come onto the blade edge of your right foot, blade edge of your left foot, and drop your hips. All right, it should be a deep outer thigh stretch or outer glute stretch for 3, for 2. On 1, reach your right arm up and over. Let's swivel around on the feet, wide-legged forward fold. Feet are just about parallel from one another here. You might play with rocking from side to side. Focus on breath. Okay, please take a halfway lift, lengthen the chest forwards. Listen carefully. Turn your right toes, so your front toes, towards the top of the space. And then we'll take it into side angle pose. Right forearm finds the thigh, left arm reaches up and over your ear. I want you to kind of gather your glutes together and then reach with those left fingers. 1 more breath in. Reach a little further as you breathe out. Strengthen up through your core here. Let's open up warrior 2. Soften the shoulders and breathe all the way from the feet. Okay, let's flip your right palm, reverse the shape, or side bend now to the back of the space. Big, big breath. And then windmill your hands to the top of the mat. All right, step back to plank pose. Feel free to move through your vinyasa. Otherwise, hips lift up and back into down dog. Wherever you are, be guided by your breath. Okay. Left heel floats to the sky as you breathe in. Knee to the nose. Step through between your hands. Come up onto fingertips, lunge forwards. Straighten through the leg, blocks are there if you need, pyramid pose. 2 more like that to your breath. Nice. All right, next time you bend the knee, easy twist, left arm to the sky. Focus on strengthening your back leg and then guiding your left hip back in space. Find a breath in. As you breathe out, Cleopatra pose, turn your left toes out, drop your right heel back, and breathe. Okay, left arm reaches back up to the top of the space, swivel around on the feet. Big transition here, go slow. Wide-legged forward fold. You might like to shift the hips a little from side to side. Notice what's happening in your shoulders and your neck. Just allowing the moment to come to you. Let it be in flow. Okay, take a halfway lift here. Look forwards. Turn your left toes forwards. Setting up for side angle pose. Left forearm finds the thigh. Right arm reaches up and over your ear. Find a squeezing of your glutes together across the back. And then press into your back heel. Press the heel down and away as you reach the right hand up and over. Find a breath. Deepen as you breathe out. 1 more like that. You might even lean back a little. Nice, guys. Let's lift up into warrior 2. Really strong through your legs here. Keep squeezing those glutes. Flip your left palm, reverse the shape. Amazing. Windmill your hands back down towards the floor. Step back to plank pose. You could move through vinyasa, or you could just move back to downward facing dog. Let's take 3 breaths in down dog. Just an opportunity to slow down for a moment, to gather any lost pieces of the mind, to reaffirm your stance inside of your body. Okay. When you're ready, please take your feet as wide as your mat as you walk your hands back towards your feet. And then squat your hips down inside of the heels, Malasana Yogi Squat. You might like to bring your hands into touch here and spread the knees away from one another. And lift your chest. And it's okay if your heels aren't on the floor here like mine. If your calves are a little tight, it might stop the heels from lowering so low. That's okay. Just do your best. Couple of breaths here. Work on opening the front line of the groins. Work on lifting the chest and breathing. 1 more breath in. Straighten through both of your legs as you forward fold. Okay, heel toe the feet back into touch as you halfway lift. And then fold forward, empty your breath. Okay, listen carefully, guys. Come up to standing, but take the right knee in towards the chest. We're going to take it into figure 4. Cross the right ankle over the left thigh. Sit the hips back, hands to the heart. And feeling into the outer hips here. Stick your butt back, move your chest forwards. Couple of breaths. Slow and steady. Okay, when you're ready, stand up, take the right knee with you, reach your arms to the sky. All right, here we go. You're going to kick your right heel forward, soldier's pose, find a breath. And then you're going to step that foot halfway down the mat, keep reaching your arms high. As you breathe out, fold forward, pyramid pose. So your feet are a little shorter here, and that's totally okay. Take a halfway lift. And then fold forward as you empty your breath. Right, you might like to stay here, or you can interlace the hands back behind you. Take that clasp, move the shoulders up and over. It's a little challenge on the balance, so be really mindful. We're here for 3, for 2, and 1. Listen carefully. Option to keep the bind, float your left leg up towards the sky, standing splits. If the bind is too much, bring the hands to the floor for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the hands, both of your feet come together, forward fold. Okay, let's come up to standing. Inhale, breath, reaching high. Bring the left knee in towards your chest. And then find the figure 4, left ankle crosses over the thigh, hands move into the heart. Stick the butt back, pull the chest forwards and rest here for a moment. Might not be quite a rest for some of you. But just allow it, whatever you're experiencing, allow it to be as it is. Let that be the practice. Okay, stand up, take the knee with you and the arms with you, and then kick the leg forward. Really strong legs here. Find a breath. Step the foot to the top of the mat. Release your hands to the floor, pyramid pose. Let's take a halfway lift, lengthen the chest. And then fold forwards. All right, option to stay here or interlace the hands with the awkward grip, so the opposite thumb on top. Maybe the arms reach up and over. Holding here for 3, for 2, and on 1, maybe step up into your standing splits, right leg floats to the sky. Really steady focus here for 3, for 2, and 1. Release your feet and your hands, forward fold. Beautiful, guys. Arms to the sky, reach up, breathe it in. Hands to the heart, breathe out through your mouth. Take a moment in mountain pose, bring your arms down by your sides. Just like we did at the beginning of the practice, we'll take a moment to become super quiet. See if you could just be in your body here and allow. Notice when the mind becomes active. And again, let that slide away, just be. Okay. Blink the eyes open on an inhale breath, Urdhva Hastasana, reach your arms to the sky. Maybe you tip back at the top. And then fold forward slowly as you breathe out. And take a halfway lift, inhale breath. As you breathe out, final opportunity for Vinyasa. You could step back to plank pose, or you could try hopping back into bent elbows. Move through your back bend. And we'll all meet in a child's pose. So drop the knees, hips to heels. Okay. So when you're ready, please make your way into a tabletop. So lift the hips up one more time. And then we'll move through this transition together. Just try to stick with the lefts and the rights. So before we even do that, if you do have a block or a cushion nearby, you might want to keep it handy, more towards the back of your mat. It's okay if you don't have one. We'll just work with what we got. All right, so pick up your right knee and then step it over the top of your left calf. And take your feet nice and wide. I might bring this with me so that you can sit your hips back. And we're in our shoelace pose, our cow-facing pose. So what we're working to do here is to have the knees kind of stacking on top of one another and then the feet kind of outside of the line of the knees. However, hips can be a really tricky part of the body to navigate, particularly if you're a little bit tighter here. So if you're finding that it's kind of quite awkward through the legs, it's a little tight, sit up onto something. It makes it a lot easier. In fact, I'm going to sit up onto something today. Great. And then we'll work to minimize the gap between the knees. So you might find an active squeezing of your knees together and sitting up nice and tall. And if this just isn't working for your body, you can extend your bottom leg forwards. Yeah, so your right leg could kick forwards. And then work to press your left knee down. Great. And we'll take a couple of breaths here. Just notice the feelings of the hips. Notice if you're moving towards a sense of certainty. See if you could just explore this moment with a little more curiosity. Okay. And then there's the option just to stay as you are, just to work into the feeling here, or you might like to fold yourself forward. It will definitely intensify the stretch. If you're feeling super adventurous today and you would like to take a clasp with your hands behind the back and fold forward that way, then go for it. Again, it's a little more intense without the help of the hands to support the weight of your body. Let me go with my hands down. We're not here for long, so move towards sensation rather than away. Let's just go for one more breath. Okay, bring the hands back up under the body, sit up nice and tall. So there's two ways that we can transition into the second side. You can lean back and just simply switch the cross of the legs. If you would prefer to come back into the tabletop shape, then feel free to meet me there and we can go there together. Picking up the left knee, crossing it over the top of the right calf. Take your feet wide. And then sit your hips back towards the floor. Feel free to sit up onto your block or your cushion. And so ideally both of your hips are on the floor. So if you're noticing that your right hip is lifting, then sit up onto something. I promise you it'll feel better. You'll get more out of it. Lift the chest, squeeze the knees, and just notice all of the feelings in the hips, the legs. Notice what thoughts this sparks in the mind. You might even become aware here of the way that the mind and the body cannot be separated. They are, in fact, one working whole. And so to work with one, we must work with the other. When you're ready, you might like to fold forward, and again, the interlace is there if you would like something a little stronger. Otherwise, hands on the floor. Okay, when you're ready, bring the hands back up. This time we'll all just simply uncross the legs. Knowing that we'll lay down in a moment, you might want to scooch yourself towards the top of the mat. And then when you're ready, lay down onto your back. Quite a linear practice today, so I'd love to just finish on a short but effective twist. Hug the right knee in towards your chest. Give it a little squeeze. And then take the right knee out towards the left. You might need to move the hips underneath your body a little more. Spread your right arm out to the side. You could use your left hand to gently guide the right knee down, but try to keep your right shoulder on the floor. And then soften your belly and breathe deeply. Okay, when you're ready, coming back through the center, and we'll switch sides. Bring the left knee in towards your chest. And then with the right hand, guide the left knee over towards the right. Extend your left arm out. Breathing deeply. Okay, when you're ready, really slowly find your way onto your back for Shavasana. If you'd like to grab something to cover your eyes, or maybe a jumper if you're getting a little cold, go for it. And just find a comfortable position for your body to rest. Because when the body is truly relaxed and rested, so too can the mind. Change is inevitable. Change is the consistent law of nature. But so too are we adaptable beings. We have the ability to shift and change because we are also nature. So trust that, trust your ability to keep up with the flow. Invite some subtle movements into your body, maybe the fingers and the toes. You might like to reach your arms up overhead and take a big stretch. And then hug the knees into your chest. And give yourself a squeeze. And then make your way up to seated. You could roll off to one side or you could rock your way up. And just take a moment to acknowledge your body here. Has anything changed since the beginning of practice? Has anything shifted or moved? Real life evidence that we too have the ability to change and adapt to the moment that is before us. And so rather than feeling like we need to tackle everything at once, can we just put one foot in front of the other? Approaching one changing moment at a time. Please bring the hands in to touch at the heart. And take a breath in through your nose. Let it out through the mouth. And bowing the head forward. Namaste.